Hello YouTube, it's your Bobby 3, back with another Kaiju TV review. Today we are looking at Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, Season 1. Oh! Yeah, so after the world-shattering revelation that monsters are real, two siblings follow in their father's footsteps to uncover the family's connection to the secretive organization known as Monarch. Now, I saw a lot of people posting about this as it was running. I kind of had a little watch party for every episode, which was fun. I enjoyed it. And I actually quite liked the show. I felt that the middle for the 2015 story kind of dragged, but I thought the pacing for the flashback to the creation of Monarch, I thought the pacing for that story was better. It feels like they wrote that story first, and then they wrote the 2015 story second, and they had to kind of match it up. And I do have complaints, but overall I quite liked it. I thought the cinematography was really excellent, in all honesty. The casting was pretty perfect, except for Anders as a young William Randa. That I don't know if I felt that he was a convincing Randa. And then Joe Tippett's character, Tim, just had this weird T.J. Miller energy. He was one of those characters. I didn't really super care for his character. Later, he's fine, but he just kind of has that... you're just watching his performance, and you're like, is this a T.J. Miller character? Why does this feel like it was written for T.J. Miller? It's so odd. But everyone else did... he did a good job with the character he was given. But really, rather excellent. Rather excellent. Now, we have our main character, Kate Randa, and after Godzilla appeared, she was in San Francisco. She was on the bridge when he attacked, and first episode, here's where all the big spoilers start. First episode, you watch a bunch of kids die, small children, her students. And it's she's got a lot of trauma that makes her claustrophobic and stuff, but there's also a lot of survivor's guilt, especially later in the show. So I guess Godzilla media is just about survivor's guilt now. Check out my -1 review. I actually plan to go see -1 Color, but it's only playing in 4DX, and I kind of don't want to be thrown out of my seat when he fires his atomic breath. I get motion sick, so I'm not sure we'll see. We'll see. We will see. Anyway, Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, is really a mystery. It's about these two half-siblings that kind of find each other because their dad, who was always kind of inattentive, is a descendant of the creators of Monarch, one of which being William Randa. Sort of. It's pretty complicated. I don't want to spoil everything for you because there's a lot of mystery. But we do find out that he has two secret families. He has an American family and a Japanese family. Very interesting. Very interesting. And one character that's in both the flashbacks and I'm going to call it the present day. It's not, because it's happening 9 years ago. But we're going to call it the present because it's the present for the show. 2015. Kurt Russell plays Lee Shaw in the modern times. Then Wyatt Russell plays the young Lee Shaw. Wyatt Russell, I believe, is U.S. agent in the MCU right now. I really loved his performance. Out of everyone's performance in this show, his and Anna Sawai's performances really stuck with me, the both of them. Oh, and Rin Watanabe, towards the end of the show where he's confronting his father in his office. Oh my god. Some of these scenes were so emotional. Just wonderful, wonderful stuff. And then there were some things that were kind of predictable. There's this little light show and I'm oh, that's a Hollow Earth portal. And it kind of was, kind of wasn't. And then there's this business. It's Apex, the creators of Mechagodzilla, but they don't tell you it's Apex, but it's so obvious that it is. it's freakishly obvious, and they're kind of, it's another situation. You know how in GVK, where Apex kind of legally makes a giant robot to fight Titans, which is like not an unreasonable thing to do, but they're just super framed like the bad guys, and it's like, oh, but they took Madison and her friends captive, and it's like Madison and her friends were trespassing. Yeah, of course they were detained by security. Apex did nothing wrong. Also, yeah, it's like, oh, Apex pulled guns on those people in the Hollow Earth, and it's like, yeah, because they say broke their deal with Apex. Apex told them flat out, hey, we want to go down to the Hollow Earth to harness its energy sources, and then they start doing that, and everyone else on the expedition is like, how dare you? Yeah, and yeah, of course, maybe they didn't need to pull guns on him and try to kill him or leave him down there. That was much. That was the daughter. That wasn't Apex as the corporation, you know? But they also kind of do that thing in here where Kiersey Clemens' character, quote unquote May, wrongs them. And yeah, they're having some unethical studies, but they appear to also kind of be legal. And they're like doing this neural thing, and it's clear that it's the neural controls for Mechagodzilla. We all know that it is. But May like deletes all the info for it, and I was thinking this as soon as she did it. I was like, wait, she set the research back on those neural controls like decades or something. Maybe not decades, but years. So it might be May's fault that Mechagodzilla went berserk. They might have been able to control Mechagodzilla if she didn't do that. So she might have caused a lot more death than she saved chimpanzees, I guess. I don't know. I felt like her mystery didn't have as much payoff as the Randa kids. The Randa kids I thought had really good payoff. But May's mystery felt a little underwhelming. But anyways, they're just really trying to cast Apex as the bad guys. But yeah, they act cartoonishly sinister. But then the things they do are like usually legal. Like, yeah, they try to kidnap May, but that kind of worked out for May, because if they would have called the police, May would have been in far more trouble. I don't know. It's weird. They want Apex to be a villain, but they need to go a little farther if they really want that. But I hear there's going to be a season 2 that reveals the origins of Mechagodzilla and explores Apex's journey on Skull Island in 2017, which I think is pretty interesting because it will showcase the downfall of Skull Island and depicting the storm that made it uninhabitable. I believe that's the storm that broke off from Ghidorah. But also, because you remember at the end of King of the Monsters, there's that thing in the credits that's like rumors of a robot being built on Skull Island, but then we see Mechagodzilla in Hong Kong, but it turns out Mechagodzilla's origins might have been on Skull Island. Very interesting. So, Season 2 will focus on Kong, while Season 1 focused on Godzilla. And when I say focused on Godzilla, I meant that he was the main monster, because there's not a lot of monsters, or at least not a lot of monster action in this show. A lot of people, I feel like, went into it expecting a big action series, and it just isn't an action series. It's actually exactly what it was marketed as. The marketing I saw for it made it seem like a dramatic mystery, and that's what we got. It was what they marketed. They didn't, at least the marketing I saw, marketed it as more of a drama, you know, a human story, and that's exactly what it was. It was what it was marketed as. So if you wanted hardcore monster action and that's not what you got, maybe just stick to the movies, I guess. This is definitely more about the drama. I feel like having it on Skull Island, where there's kaiju around you 24/7, will maybe open it up to some more action. And with a lot of viewer feedback saying up the action, they might do that as well. But it was a very well-written show. Very well written, beautiful cinematography. The CG was great. The Monsterverse has pretty good CGI. Like, if you look at fucking DC's films and some of Marvel's more recent stuff, and then you look at the MonsterVerse has given us consistently great CGI. And it's good looking movie to movie. Like, some of Marvel's stuff from, like, the pandemic, I kind of forgive the drop in CGI quality, because it's like, oh, well, that's during the pandemic. You gotta give it a break then. Like, there was some pretty bad CGI in Shang-Chi, but Shang-Chi is a really good movie. So I kind of forgave it, because I was like, oh, that's pandemic CGI. But now it's like, hey, when's that CGI gonna get better? DC's hasn't been really that good most of the time, so let's find a Man of Steel, I guess. Whatever, I don't want to get off track. I'm not going to compare this to -1 too much. I'm going to say there's some similar themes, but it's not terribly similar, Just a little bit of survivor's guilt stuff that's kind of the same. But survivor's guilt is just kind of in this, where it's more what -1 is. I don't want to compare the CG. That seems to be something that a lot of people want to do, is compare -1's CGI to the MonsterVerses. I thought they were both pretty good. I mean, I like -1 and I like the MonsterVerse. Everyone wants to... -1 is just the big thing right now. And it would be odd if I didn't talk about it. Yeah, especially since I'm going to see it again. My partner saw it twice in theaters, and now we're going to go see the 4X, as I mentioned. Probably. God, I don't want to see that. I want to see -1 minus color, but not like that. But this was pretty good. I actually, I am excited for a season 2. To be honest, there didn't even need to be a season 2, but Mechagodzilla and Kong, just getting more on them, that makes me happy. I mean, we won't see Mechagodzilla in action, because they'll be making it. It'll be more like the origins of Mechagodzilla. But we'll probably see a lot of Kong. And I really like the MonsterVerse's version of Kong. Feels like a good Kong. I think I like MonsterVerse's version of Kong more than its version of Godzilla. I like both, but they're both very similar. I just think the role suits Kong better. Any role can suit Godzilla. He's one of the most versatile characters of all time. He's like Batman. You can put him in any kind of tone or film or anything, and he'll work. But Kong, I feel like Kong is a bit more restricted. Once again, he can still work well, but I don't know, it just feels... The natural protector thing, I just feel like slides easier into Kong's mythos than it does Godzilla. Though, once again, they both work. So I am excited for Season 2. And I really like this. Once again, I thought the 2015 story kind of dragged in the middle a bit, and it's like there were parts where Shaw was like, I promise I'll tell you everything, and then like 2 episodes would go by and he hadn't told him anything yet, and it's like, okay, no, all right, come on. But the acting was great. The story was good. Pretty dope. And they go to the Hollow Earth, but it's not the Hollow Earth. It's actually something kind of different. It's like... So now the Hollow Earth is like confirmed as almost another dimension, which I think is interesting. And there's this space between the Hollow Earth and our world. The Hollow Earth and our world are like symbiotic worlds that need each other, which is very interesting. But there's a place between them that's got like time dilation. In some sci-fi, Star Trek typically ignores it, even though Star Trek has the most hyperspacey stuff. But it kind of does it in Interstellar, where they come back and the time has changed. It's usually higher concept sci-fi that works this in. But, like, if you go spend time in this space between the Hollow Earth and our Earth, time will go by in our world far faster than the amount of time you experience there. So, like a week will be like 20 years. Which is, of course, why Shaw isn't super decrepit the whole film. No, the whole show. The cinematography is very film-like, though, I will say. But this in-between world is pretty neat. There were some neat original kaiju in this, some that weren't super extraordinary. Like there were just a couple like winged beasties, some kind of wyvern-looking mofos. They weren't terribly interesting, but the way they described the biology of the winged beast earlier in the show, where they met Randa and stuff. I mean, the kind of lore around that one was cool, but the beast design itself was fine. There was like this kind of forest pig thing later that was pretty cool. So most of the actual monsters in this show are pretty basic, but Godzilla himself still looks quite good. Quite good. But I suppose that's mostly it for Monarch Legacy of Monsters. It's a good watch. It's 10 episodes. Each is about 45 minutes or so. You know, I watched them as they came out, and I really enjoyed them. I think it's better to have some cliffhangers. Cliffhangers, I think, can be really good for shows. You know, I actually prefer shows that kind of come out 1 or 2 episodes at a time. Cliffhangers, if done right, can build suspense that will make the next episode more enjoyable to watch. You know, I felt that way for WandaVision. I'm kind of feeling that way for Has Been Hotel right now. Really enjoying Has Been Hotel. Etc. You just have to do cliffhangers right. And there's a lot of... I read a lot of comics, and comic books have kind of become masters of cliffhangers. Gotta love it. So, that is it for Monarch Legacy of Monsters Season 1. I'm ready for the more Kong-focused Season 2. And I don't know if there will be a Season 3, but we'll just have to see. Of course, GXK will be out soon enough. When? April, I think? And then GXK I'll review on this channel. And then you know, they always do prequel graphic novels for MonsterVerse movies. I will be reviewing those on the main channel. That's where I review comics. I kind of go back and forth between my channels. When I'm making a lot of content for one, the other kind of suffers. That's why there hasn't been much on this channel, but I'm trying to upload shorts here, at least. Sorry about that. I haven't been watching a lot of movies or shows, admittedly. I've been reading comics, like listening to audiobooks. I'm just absorbing a different kind of media right now. But that's it. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below, Facebook, Twitter, etc. And I'll be seeing you all next time. Bye for now.